Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, I have 9069 completely disassembled to do some painting of the wheels and also the DCC upgrade on 9000. So one of the first things, I'll show you the panels here. So as you guys know, the blue panel is the panel that is going to go in there. This has the Tsunami 2 sound and DCC. This is the DC panel that came out of it, and it's got the kind of newer style quick plug for the DCC if you were to buy your own DCC and put it on. So we took that out. We're going to be putting this in, and you guys can see it's the exact same panel as what 9069 has, and you guys can even see the dates on here. The panel that's going in 9000 is a couple days newer than the panel that is in 9069, so very close in manufacturing time. So that's pretty cool. That should work out really good. And then, of course, we have right here the original speaker housing that was in the locomotive. This was in there merely just for weight. You guys can see there's no sound dampening material in between the two halves, and of course nothing where the speaker is. And then this is what's going to go in there. You guys can see in between the two halves of the casting, there is the that sound dampening material, and then of course a speaker. And so that's gonna all be pretty easy swap over. Something that I did have to modify was the leads for the front truck on 9000. So on this panel it originally came from, you guys can see on the front of the panel there was track left, track right, and then on the back of the panel track left, track right. Now on these new panels, or newer panels, track left and track right are clear at the back of the panel. I'm not sure what they did for like labeling on these, because it's clearly left and right. I'm not sure what the other R is. Maybe rear, left rear, right rear, and then of course the rear lights. But in the front, how these are wired up is the red one, of course, is positive for all the lights. The one next to it is negative for the front lights, and then you take a negative from each ditch light and put it in F7 and F8. So that's how that's wired up. So those front leads have to go quite a ways back, all the way back to the rear of the panel. And here you guys can see this is the lead truck out of 9069. You guys can see just how long those wires are. And then I had to extend these ones to, didn't have to be a perfect length, just close enough. And then I even went and put some heat shrink over. I had to soldered those together just so that way those are good, reliable joints, and I'm not just having some wires spliced together without solder. It's definitely something that you want to solder, so that way it's basically like it's never even happening right there. It's just a continuance of power, and you're not going to lose anything through some wires that are just kind of braided together. Something else that I have, a couple things that I've taken care of while the shells are off of the frames, is putting on the sanders. I'll see if I can set this down. And this is probably the most annoying thing on these locomotives, is Athearn does not put the sanders on from the factory. Now when these first came out, they were doing that, I think, if I remember correctly, but anything after that run, it's always been separate pieces. And these things are kind of a pain in the ass to put in, especially the ones underneath the front and rear pilot. That's a really tight area to try to line those holes up with the little pegs that are on those parts. Glue them in nicely, making sure that you're not over gluing or making sure that they're not lined up. It's real tight space right there. The inner sanders aren't too bad. This one's a little annoying with this filter setup here. But so what I like to do is, as soon as I have the shell off, that's the very first thing I do, is glue all 8 of those sanding lines in, because it's the easiest it's going to be the whole time. And then something else I like to take care of, you guys know I don't weather these, but I do like to paint the exhausts black, flat black, and I do that while the shell is off, so that way I can paint the inside. You guys can see a little bit of mess from the paint there. Just that way when you look down in there, it's all black around the whole exhaust port, and then it makes it easier for getting my really tiny brushes down around in that area right there without getting paint on the surrounding area of the exhaust cover there. So I like to do that while these are free floating and nice and light, because it makes it really easy. So next step is to disassemble all the trucks. I'm gonna take the wheels out, clean them first. I clean the flanges and the faces first, paint them, and then I go back and I re-clean the flanges of the wheels to make sure no paint, or if there is any paint on the rim there, that gets removed and it's not going to inhibit electricity going through the track to the wheel. So that's going to be the next step, and then once I get those painted back together, then it'll just be reassembling everything. We'll get this panel installed on the motor. I'll get those motor leads hooked up, get the speaker hooked up, and then once everything else is on and the shell's ready to go on, then I'll make sure to wire the... I have to look at my wires and find the negative leads for the ditch lights, because on the old panel, all of the headlights and ditch light wires came to the 2 middle posts right there. So I gotta make sure I'm putting the correct wires on this newer panel. So other than that, these are pretty straightforward. Just I got my modifications made, I got the additional details put on, so now we just gotta paint the wheels, clean them, put them back together, and that'll be it. So that's it for this video, guys. Just a short little update on 90, 69, and 9000. And that's it for this one. So until next time, take care.